Resident Evil Revelations was a 3DS exclusive title which was later ported to consoles and PC. It stars, haha, get it, stars,
I'm the funny man. What do you mean I'm funny?
Jill Valentine and her partner Parker searching for Chris Redfield and his partner Jessica at their last known location aboard a ship known as the Zenobia. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Floating in the Mediterranean Sea, where Chris was looking for the whereabouts of a terrorist group known as Veltro, who used BOWs in the attack of a city known as Terra Grigia. Hopefully I'm also pronouncing that right as well. At least that's the game we wound up with and the one we all know. But the first trailer, which I doubt many people remember, reveals a very different game more tied to the originals. The trailer is only about a minute long, so I'll let it play and then we'll break it down.
Somehow, I always manage to come through. Not this time. I messed up.
You think you'll get away with this?
I already have, Jill.
Do you have it?
Maybe. You'll have to kill me to find out.
And what would you do if you found it? It doesn't matter, because you're already.
Now, despite this trailer only being a minute long, it gives a lot of plot details and setting away, and there is quite a bit to talk about. First, let's talk about what we see visually. We see Chris in a chair reflecting on his life. We see some shots of him and Jill exploring the Zenobia instead of Parker and Jill. So right away, we already see the difference. The characters Parker and Jessica are not present. Parker was more tied to the Terra Grigia incident, so this might lead us to believe that maybe significant portions of the story were drastically different, and maybe Terra Grigia wasn't even a thing in this build of the game. So, kind of interesting to think about. Personally for me, Lost in Nightmares was a really great game and arguably the best part about Resident Evil 5, so seeing a full-fledged co-op game with Chris and Jill probably would have been really cool. And the most interesting thing to notice is zombies. Chris and Jill fighting zombies, and pretty cool looking ones at that. The design looks very reminiscent to the Spencer Mansion and Resident Evil 0 kind of zombies. Anyone who's played Revelations knows that there were no zombies present in the game, only the T-Abyss monsters, which granted the T-Abyss monsters are pretty cool, but I feel like the T-Abyss monsters would be better and have more of an impact if they were reserved for specific sections of the game and the main enemy type was zombies again. Since at the time, if you guys think about it, this was around Resident Evil 6, but like I'm pretty sure this was before Resident Evil 6. So we hadn't really seen zombies present for a while, especially in the main line. 4, 5 didn't really have zombies. 6 kind of did for Leon's part, but for the most part, we really didn't have too many zombies. But a full-fledged game with zombies, that would be really cool, especially like on the ship setting. But now, by far the most interesting part of the trailer we see is HUNK. HUNK's random appearance in raid mode feels, well, random to say the least until you watch this trailer. HUNK seems to have had an actual part in this story, and fans have been begging Capcom for years to give him his own game or scenario or story again. And judging by how much they show of him in the trailer, he might have actually had a large part in the story. Keep in mind, too, the most recent endeavors of HUNK were Resident Evil 2. We don't know anything about what happened after the Raccoon City incident to him. The only resurgence we see of him is in Code Veronica, and it's only in the form of a note. And he's describing to the reader they were on a mission to Rockford Island, and it was like a odd kind of mission, and they were looking for more details. And then he also briefly references that he underwent training at Rockford Island, because Rockford Island, despite being a prison, was also a military training facility for Umbrella. But otherwise, like I said, after this, we don't hear anything from him at all. He's in the Mercenaries in Resident Evil 4 and the Mercenaries 3D, but otherwise we haven't seen anything. So this would have been a really cool story arc. I personally think that removing this was kind of a bad idea on Capcom's part, because, I don't know, Capcom feels the need to add all these new characters, and some of them are really cool, like Piers was a cool character and everything, but then at the same token, you have all these characters that only had 1 or 2 appearances in the series. I don't know why Capcom doesn't just make more games with these people. Now, another great cool little thing you'll see here is that the ship actually hits a tidal wave. In the finished game, the ship gets flooded with water, but the entire ship getting turned upside down, that would have made for awesome gameplay, and re-navigating the ship while it's turned upside down could have made a really awesome game and really changed up the gameplay a lot. I think that would have been a really cool thing to see, like navigating like a half-flooded ship, like kind of like if you guys have ever seen the movie Poseidon, like that would make a really cool game, I think, personally. But I'm personally, I think, like, despite a lot of these changes, I think it could have been a lot better of a game, but Revelations is still a decent game. Now, as we approach the end of the trailer, Chris and Jill are pointing their guns at each other, revealing that not only that's not Chris in the chair, but Chris and Jill, despite being lifelong partners, are so divided to the point they're literally threatening each other with a gun. And the figure in the chair turns out to be what I can assume is the villain in this build of the game, but he doesn't look like the leader of Veltro from what I remember. I only played through Revelations like once or twice. So there is a possibility that we had an entirely different villain as well. And was there a supernatural kind of plot similar to Resident Evil 4's original build where there's hallucinations and stuff like that? Because, Jill kind of thinks that's him in the chair, but then it turns out it's not him in the chair, and then it turns out to be the villain in the chair, So some kind of mind games going on. Either that or it's just clever, like, marketing. Like, they edited the trailer in a way, it's super, like, mysterious and cool, That could very well be the case, too. I don't know, but personally, like I said, Revelations I thought was an okay game, but I think, honestly, this build of the game looks a lot more interesting. And, I think it would have been a lot better of a game if we had zombies and HUNK and everything like that. But blended with the finished game. Like, I like a lot of what we got in the finished game. Like, I think Parker's a cool character. The Terra Grigia incident was a cool plot line. So maybe a game that blended both of these builds together would have been nice. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please give this video a like if you enjoy Resident Evil content like this. I also make it on a weekly basis, so definitely consider subscribing for more. Comment down below, what do you guys think? Did you guys like how Revelations turned out? Would you have liked this version? Would you have thought this would have been better than what we got? I don't know, but that's up for you guys to comment. So, yeah, like I said, content like this on a weekly basis. Love Resident Evil, love secrets and lore, gameplay tips, whatever. I got it all, man, so check it out.